Hello my friends, this is Gosia from Cosmic Agency. Today I am going to share with you a video which I uncovered from some past chats with Yazhi Swaruu, and I believe it's really a little precious metaphysical nugget, this chat with Yazhi, and I think you'll find something for you. I'm going to appear at the end of the video as well, just to break down several points that I thought were important to me. But first, to give you a little bit of a context about this conversation, how it starts. At that time, and it was a difficult, challenging time for the humanity, you know, the medical situation, and Yazhi had this idea that she was going to somehow merge or become people, the collective, and long story here, what's behind that, and somehow move the perception of that collective to a better timeline. So this is how it started, this conversation, because I'm here asking her, okay, if you're going to do that, move the collective perception into another timeline, well, that other timeline, unchanged, unmoved, is still there, and it is going to affect us still. So for some reason, which I don't understand right now, I was worried about that other timeline still affecting us, because in another video that Yazhi shared a few years ago, she's talking about this in details, how all the supposed timelines are interrelated, always connected, intermeshing, influencing one another, which also is going to be seen here in this video. So I'm asking, how will that unchanged timeline still affect us here and the collective here? So this is how it starts. Enjoy the video. It's not very long, but I'm going to see you at the end. Originally in English, 2021-2022. But I have a question. If you go change timelines, affect events, etc., the timeline you move us into is different, okay, but the one before remains unchanged. You only move our perception to the other one, right? If I become the people, I am moving everyone's perception. Yes, exactly. You are moving their perception, but the unmoved perception remains, right? That timeline will not be changed and always there. What I care about is what they see, not what they do not see. So the other one must remain behind, and as if it never existed. Why would that matter to us then anyway? You know why it might matter? Because it still exists out there, and it influences us quantically through the field. You said it's all related and passing information, feelings. Yes. Yet all we must do is concentrate on this line. The other one is not of your concern. You cannot do anything about it anyway. Yes, but with Earth remaining in that unchanged timeline, how will it affect us here? Or it doesn't much? Or is it all irrelevant to even think about that? I mean, it should be relevant to you, especially since you can see all those timelines at once, as one big mass. It always affects, and it is relevant. But what can you do about it? Nothing. So concentrate on what you can do. But if you cannot do anything about it, and you cannot even see it, as to use it as a reference, then why worry? Unless you are trained to perceive the other timelines. But you can see them. I can, but not everyone can. And at the same time, everybody can, but they do not know how things work. Because right now, you are seeing many timelines. Different timelines of yourself now as you are. But you just think they are your normal day-to-day events and thoughts. but they are not. You go understanding more and more, and that is assimilating each time more and more timelines into one, until you come to understand that you are everything, source, God, ether, whatever you may want to call it. Yes, there is nothing we can do, but you said whatever happens there does affect us. What about evil things happening in those other lines? How will it affect this one? How can we perceive that effect? Okay, for example, you are thinking that an evil president wins the election in another line, and you are worrying about it. That's exactly happening because the feeling, the awareness of that other timeline is filtering into this one as a thought. And with it, you are bringing it to you here into this one. The answer is not to turn blind eye to the negative timelines, as many say wrongly. It is to understand them, to assimilate them, to be okay with them, comprehend them, and then choose another. Empirical for me. Everyday life here. Okay, and also, does regressive timeline affect in the same way as the more positive one? Do they have the same power of affecting you? The one that you give more attention to. You choose that. You tell me, what is more powerful? That's a choice, and the choice defines who you are. You are the choice. Oh, I see. It's you who determines that. Yes. I think I understand. I see now it was a stupid deterministic question I made. What timeline affects more? You are the timeline and you draw that. Make it. Timelines don't happen to you. You are timelines. Yes. Another chat. Timelines are separate and you cannot see them, but they do define one another, as in, you know you get burned if you touch a burning log, but you never have gotten burned by a log specifically, but you have somewhere, sometime, in another timeline. So the information that defines what you do and how you live and how you manifest your reality crisscrosses. That works through the unconscious mind, mostly at least. But once you see two or more timelines, become aware of them, they blend into one. That bigger timeline, made up of the two, first will become a more expanded timeline you are aware of, and then you go adding more and more timelines, making your awareness greater and more expanded. This is nothing hush-hush. You do it all the time. You call it learning. And once you learn something in sufficient detail, and it is relevant for you and your life, then it will change how you live, think, and manifest your entire reality. So, although another reality does not consciously appear to define you, it does, because from a more expanded perception and awareness, we are all made up of different things and circumstances, especially those who apparently contradict each other, because opposites do define each other. For example, you are assuming you had gotten together with Matthias because that happened before somewhere out there on another planet in your perception. But there is no before and after. There is only now. So you getting together with Matthias now is very well how you got together with him on another planet in the first place. Or could be, not to sound assertive here. Things come to pass. Forget about the when, they just do. Time is only semi-linear, and from a limited point of view of a conscious experience, life experience, as perceived by the conscious mind only. Timeline 1. Gosia walks down the street with a cake and she slips and falls on it. Timeline 2. Gosia walks down the street with a cake and she is careful not to slip with the cake because timeline 1 passed over the information that you slip and fall on it, so you are careful and it no longer happens. You say that's because of pure simple logic. No, it's not. All thought, logic, and experiences, as well as memory and all what and who you are, is contained in the field that is in the ether and not in the body. So that what is contained there is based on previous experiences that define and form new ones in the same circumstances. So even though you've never slipped and fallen on the cake, you are still pulling it from the field, from your logic imagination. That is what creates a timeline in the first place. But then, your awareness decides by choice that you do not want to slip and fall on your cake. But that slipping timeline is still there.
I hope you liked this little video. I liked it very much. I like all the conversations with them, with Yazhi Swaruu, and with them in general. So here you can see, and this was discussed before in detail, how all the different supposed timelines influence each other, and information filters here and information from here filters somewhere else. The information crisscrosses all the time, that we are never truly separated. Our thoughts, our feelings that we suddenly have about something could be actually something filtered from a parallel version of ourselves from another timeline. However, and this is very interesting here, Yazhi says that it's not something super enigmatic and mysterious as those timelines being somewhere else. It's actually, what we think is our daily stuff, our daily thoughts, events, action. Actually, she does perceive it as that, as other timelines, our decisions, our everyday daily situations. It's all different timelines crisscrossing and intermeshing, learning and expanding into a new level of understanding of something. It is also a cross into another timeline, so to speak. And to help you understand this, what I'm saying, I'm going to give you an example of myself, and this is going to apply to you as well. For example, Gosia from 5 years ago. She was an expanded, not as much as now, version of Gosia, another timeline of Gosia, that comparing to this one now could be viewed as a separate timeline. They are two different Gosias, right? However, as I expanded, as that other Gosia was learning and expanding and enriching herself, now I see that other Gosia from before not as a separate timeline, but as an integrated part of me. I can still see her, I can still perceive her, she is still there. But on top of that, there are other more expanded ones now that also form me. So these two timelines, unexpanded Gosia and expanded Gosia, that could be viewed as two, now I have them integrated as one. I feel them both. I am them both. And here you can see that both of these supposed timelines are actually one. You are all of them at once. Now, from my point of attention that I have now, I am taking into myself both of them, and I am both of these timelines, unexpanded and expanded Gosia, and all in between. Now, also very important, interesting point here that Yazhi mentions, and this is something that we mention here and there, and I am totally on board with this, is that it's not about turning the blind eye to the negative timelines. Yazhi here says it's not about pretending they are not there or turning away from them as if they are not there. It's about understanding them, comprehending, integrating them, understanding, and then choosing a different one. So they are all there, but you consciously, with your awareness and willingness and intention of the mind, you choose a different one. You choose to have your attention on a different one, because it's not really being aware that manifests those other negative timelines and events. It's the fear. It's attention, but fueled with fear, because it's the fear that has this concentrating superpower of manifestation that creates that which we have the attention on. But if we are just aware of something and then choose another, actually that negative timeline and negative events is even serving us, is actually benefiting us, because on basis of that we can choose elsewhere. So that last example of the cake, this is very interesting. You are carrying a cake and you are super conscious about not slipping. Where did that idea come from of slipping? Well, maybe it has filtered to you from some other version of yourself, somewhere in the ether where all of you is contained, all of you, where you did slip and you hurt yourself. So now you are careful and you are not going to slip because you are extra careful, having that feeling that came from somewhere else. Super interesting. And this, actually knowing about how this works is a great tool to understand our reactions, why we react the way we do. It's not just some past experiences, but it could be like parallel experiences as well. So it's a great psychological tool to help us understand ourselves. And now, which timeline, negative or positive, that are all happening in the field of us, which one will affect us more here, because they all do all the time, but which one will affect you more? Well, to me now it's obvious, the one that you are most the vibrational match to. So again, it's all about vibration and your thoughts and your frequencies and your emotions. Because if it's some kind of a timeline, so to speak, that is far away from you on the spectrum of frequencies, from where you have your attention and vibration now on, then it's gonna be far. It's not gonna affect you, and you will not draw that to yourself. So it's connected with the law of mirrors, law of attraction, where you will be manifesting and attracting what you are a match to. So again, you are drawing to yourself the effect of that specific timeline that is going to be compatible with who you are now, today. And that's why let's not worry about those other timelines. Let's worry about who and what we are today, our actions and thoughts today. And with that, we're going to draw a specific timeline that will be compatible and with resonance with that. That's my interpretation of this little metaphysical nugget. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one, of course. Bye-bye.